We are now at almost 6 months of kitty introductions, which involves my senior cat, Shinobii, who's 11, and our kitty, who's now a year. When we started the introductions, we were extremely cautious since Minnie used to be a feral, then yard cat, and now indoor cat, and Shinobii has been a single cat throughout her entire life. At the end of the last update, we put a screen up on Shinobii's door so that we could start rotating between the two girls, so that they never felt like one was more important than the other, but rather create a sort of balance. And we believe taking this approach, since we have been doing introductions at such a slow pace and taking our time with it, really helped them to not think of the other as competition, but rather everything is just spaces shared. It's just more of a matter of who happens to be outside. And even if they are inside, we have made it so that they're both perfectly comfortable the entire time, which then allowed them, whenever we did have the feeding times, to concentrate on eating. Now, shortly after adding that thinner layer to Shinobii's door, we actually started removing part of it in Minnie's door. And that's kind of where we started, since that gate has smaller gaps in between spaces. So Minnie couldn't put her head out, and in the sections that she could, we used tape to keep it safe, basically. This small change did create some friction initially, because it was such a surprise to see them like each other, like live essentially. But little by little, we were able to get the plates back close together. And anytime that the girls just stared at each other too intensely, I would do like a little humming sound, or we would start playing some music or relaxing music just to distract them from each other, because keeping that direct eye contact would basically like provoke one or the other. But by breaking that up, even if it was just as simple as taking off a shoe and waving it right in front of their faces, it would just break it. And even though they would look really confused, it would ease some of the tension, and it would make either of them, whoever was not feeling being together at the time, reconsider and just walk away from the situation. Interestingly enough, as we were removing these pieces, they actually also started being more comfortable putting their own body against the gate, which we were really surprised about, since now they're more exposed and they know that the other cat could go in and touch them, but they still opted to really just rub up with each other. So like Minnie would rub up against the gate when she was playing, and Shinobii, if she was the one that was free, then she would go out and rub against her gate like, hey, I'm outside. So it proved to be pretty interesting the way that the dynamic sort of shifted once we removed that layer of you can't escape and transformed into a we hope you don't escape. Then we really just started implementing more freedom for each of them, where they could see each other with the door open and see each other just walk around the house, because previously we concentrated on just those feeding times. So those 30 minutes in the morning and at night of them eating and them constantly having somebody entertained and playing. And now we were trying to start a different phase. And in this phase, it was more of, hey, we're all living here. We're all just living our life together. Look at me living my life, essentially. And even though Shinobii, she would park herself like right in front of her door, Minnie respected the door, even though it does have wider gaps, so she could have totally just gone right in, as she does every other gate, except hers, of course. Then that kind of gave us some freedom of, okay, now Shinobii can come outside and they can see each other. And Shinobii, again, because she's a senior cat, she was really super active. She would usually just sit there in the hallway and stare at Minnie. It was really the same as when she was eating, except there was no football. But when it came time for Shinobii to be inside, she definitely let everybody know she was not happy about it. and we would have our conversations. She's always been very talkative, so I would always talk back with her. And even though I have no idea what I'm saying or what she's saying, I figured this has been a ritual for us, so I should continue doing it even if Minnie is outside. And when Minnie went to go visit her, and I felt like she was too kind of crowding her door or just getting too close, I would call her back just to distract her a little bit and show her some love at the same time. Because I didn't want them to concentrate on, hey, I'm here, how you doing? And be like obnoxious about it, but rather be something like, hey, we're both here, let's just be chill. Because my goal is not to have them be best friends. My goal is just to have them coexist peacefully. Because they're both wonderful cats who deserve a loving home. And we're just trying our best to make them both happy. Now, after a couple of days of doing this, Minnie got really bold. Like, once both of the covers on the gates were gone, I guess she felt more confident, more comfortable. I don't even know what to call it, but she actually tried tapping Shinobii while Shinobii was eating. It was probably the most incredible thing I've ever watched. It was just such a minor interaction, but the fact that Shinobii didn't just immediately snap at her, she just went back to eating. And then after Minnie kept doing it a couple times, she just looked like, what are you doing? I'm eating. It was such a great sign for the progress that we have made. Like, Minnie kept pushing the boundaries. And Shinobii definitely let her know when she was over it. But it was a great start to them communicating and really engaging with each other. After that, Minnie did just kind of like, alright, I'm gonna go hang out, we're cool, and left Shinobii alone. And then once Shinobii was outside, then again, it's just more of the, hey, I want to keep staring at you, trying to figure you out until I'm ready to interact. So we're still in that creeping stages, but now we're making progress on them interacting more peacefully and just being more in the same spaces together, living a little bit more of a normal life. So things are looking hopeful, and we'll keep updating on the progress. So wish us lots of luck, and hopefully the next update of them both being in the same room will be pretty soon.